your place, so you best not forget it. She gon' tell you how it is, cause she's Rick the Critic. When she all up in your city, oh, you best not forget it. Let you know if she like it and if she get with it. Let the whole world know and be the first to admit it. Let you know if it's good and if she dig it, cause she's Rick the Critic. Rick the Critic, Rick the Critic, Rick the Critic. She the first to admit it if she can't dig it, cause she's Rick the Critic, 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 Rick the Critic.
Hi, I'm Rick the Critic, and today my guest is Deborah Johnson, the Smile Lady, and you guys all recognize her, right? And today we're going to be talking about grandmas.
Yes, proud grandmas.
Proud grandmas and the do's and the don'ts, so you don't want to miss this. I mean, we're going to be talking. Let's talk. Do you have grandchildren?
Oh, yes. I have, what, 12?
Wow, I got 3.
You got 3?
I have 3 grandchildren, yeah. A son and 2 granddaughters.
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
boy. I'm not even going to try to name them because I'll probably be nervous. And if I leave one out, you know what they'll do to us.
Oh, yeah.
Tar and feather?
Yeah, you know, well, first, is it your daughters or
Daughters?
you have daughters
yeah,
or
my
sons?
son, he's the baby, 27. He doesn't have any yet. But 42, 38, and 29.
No, you only look like you're 42. How you gonna say 40?
Well, thank you. I'm going to come on your show. Can I be a regular? I say that to get the compliments. Yeah. As a matter of fact, if you count, you know, Landy's 47-year-old son, I'm a great grandmother.
Wow. Wow.
So just with mine, I'm a
So
grandmother.
how does the great grandchild?
He has a 47-year-old son. So that makes his 25-year-old son, who had the son, my
And how old is the son? The great
22.
grandson.
The grandson is 22.
How's the great grandson?
2 now.
Okay. Wow.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
That's a blessing. It's a blessing to be able to say that we're grandmothers and
Yes.
grandparents. And
Yes.
I don't know about you, but I love being a grandmother. I like to be able to send them home, and I like that when they come, that there's a different kind of vibe with them.
Yes.
You
We
kinda
got
vibe
some sense, so
different.
we know how to do. You want me to
Yeah.
tell you something?
Yeah.
Grandmothers are parents with erasers.
Is that what it
It's
is?
kind of like we can kind of erase some of the mistakes we made with ours.
Yeah.
So we're like either PhDs in parenting or grandmothers or mothers with erasers.
Is that why our children always say, you let them get away with
Yes.
murder, and you never let us get away with
Yes,
it? Because we
yes.
did our parenting
We
differently.
don't sweat the small stuff anymore.
Yeah.
If I would have thought back, I would have had a maid, you know, because I could have afforded it with the other stuff I was spending money on.
Yeah.
And wouldn't have the battle with all the other stuff where I could have been spending more quality time.
Did you raise yours by
Alone.
yourself? Yeah, I did too.
When they were 2, 5, 13, and 16, I was by myself raising them.
Yeah,
Mother and
and that's a
papa.
serious age. That's real serious. I raised my daughters. When they got about, I remarried when they got I think like 13, and that was a disaster. I mean, it was like, you know, you got that thing with the stepfather and
Yes.
and
They ain't my daddy. and
Yeah.
da-da-da-da-da.
Okay, and then it's like, you know, we had all these things going on for us until this guy got here, type thing. So you're battling with that, and then you're battling with the father, your husband. You know, I don't get enough attention, and if I knew then
Oh,
what I know
Lord.
now, I probably never would have remarried. I probably just would have raised them and without a stepfather, and just kind of went on, because it was always drama. You know what I mean?
Oh, like right now, I should probably just now be starting to date. Kids are gone or something like that, because it was like when the stepfather came in, like you say, they didn't like him or they loved him, and the stepson didn't like me, and blah, 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 and you know, my mother did, and da-da-da-da, you're not my mother. So I'm not, you're 45 years old. I mean,
Yeah, right.
I wasn't trying to be his mother,
Yeah.
you know, at the time. So sometimes, you know, unless you lay those boundaries and have a really secure relationship, it's kind of hard. But what we didn't know, I'm learning right now that I'm going back to school to get my master's in human development. We can't erase the past, just kind of move over, and I did it because that's all I knew.
Right.
I was a teenager, did what teenagers did, messed up. Now we got to go on and correct it for the future.
Well, it's I have more patience now
Yes.
with my grandchildren when I see them. I mean, I don't know about you, but I know every time my children get mad, they always play this.
Oh, yes.
We're gonna
yes.
withhold the grandchildren.
Yes, right
I'm
now.
not gonna let the grandchildren come by and see you because I'm angry with you. And I never could. Do you know when we were coming up, we never had any kind of bad relationship with our grandparents, because no matter what my father and mother went through,
That's
we
my
were
point.
close with
Thank
our
you.
grandparents. And
Thank
even
you.
when I took care of my grandmother when she got in her 90s, I mean, when my dad wouldn't and his brother wouldn't, I took care of her because of the closeness that we had. I mean, when I went by her house, I mean, we could get in the bed, we would eat peanuts, we'd
Tell
go to
it.
church together.
Grandma's
I mean,
hands.
it was a warmth, it was a love. And I also had my great grandmother too. So my great grandmother lived in the home with my grandmother, and so when I went to their home on the weekends, I had both of them there, and so it was just love. I mean, my grandparents loved me unconditionally, and then my mother's my mother's parents. When I went there, and I also had that great grandmother too. She died when she was 108. So I had all my grandparents lived to be like 100.
See, you were blessed.
Oh, I'm telling you, I had both great grandmothers, and like I said, one died when
What's
she was
the
108.
names? You may as well give them their props.
Yeah, okay. My father's grandmother was Beulah May
Go ahead.
Broadnex, and my mother's grandmother was Luana Bruner, and they were just awesome. I mean,
See?
Even, and I know, my parents used to fight. I mean, they fought all the time. And I think it was that era where you could hit your wife or something and the police would put them in the car and take them around the corner and let them cool off and then drop them back off type thing, that crazy kind of stuff. Instead of, once who was it, Nicole with OJ, after that thing, then it became a serious issue. But African American women were getting beat up. I mean, really, just beat up like this. And I remember in our neighborhood, the police would come and they would,
funny.
girl, I'm serious.
But
the
the
police
way
would
you
come.
put that, that is so true.
It is. When the police would come, they
That
would put
is
him in the
so
car
true.
and they would take him around the corner and they would say he's going to let him cool off, and then they would bring him back and drop him off at your home. And I remember my mother, because we could never call the police or run. I remember,
Keep your business
just,
at home.
everything.
Don't let anything go behind the store.
Everything stayed behind closed
everything.
doors.
Behind closed doors, couldn't tell nothing.
My grandmother would come by and visit us. Her friends would come, and my mother taught school. And she went to school with black eyes and stuff, with makeup and stuff on. She taught like that.
Sparkle.
You know
Did
what I'm
see the movie
saying?
Sparkle?
No.
Oh yeah. Okay.
And everyone in the neighborhood thought we had this really wonderful house. It was unbelievable. They thought, we took family vacations. My dad was there. We did a lot of stuff together.
Are they
and
still
my mother,
living now to this
no,
day?
my dad just died a couple of years ago, and my mother died, when she was 42. Yeah, 42
I just
years
lost
old.
my father. This is the
30 years
closest
ago.
I've lost 2 weeks ago. My father at 85 years old. He was born August 23rd, 1925. So he would
What
have
a
been
blessing.
86 this year.
You guys are close?
No, he had left when I was 9, but we had started getting a relationship before we found out he had cancer about 2 years ago. 3 years
Awesome.
ago.
My dad he died 2 years ago of lung cancer.
Yeah.
He had lung cancer, and they
Stage
told
3
him,
B.
said
So that's
6
when we
months.
started to build our relationship. So when he died, I felt kind of at peace.
Yeah.
That we kind of had a starting of a relationship that we didn't have for a long time, and that's the thing. Sometimes it's 3 generations, no men has had a household in my family. So grandma's hands wind up being the ones that, I didn't know my grandparents.
Listen, I am.
And that's a blessing. That's why I say
I'm telling you,
that's
I
an honor.
was so fortunate to have not only the grandparents, but great grandparents. And
great grandparents.
I had my great grandmother and my grandmother. I had both of them.
Mine were all gone before I was born, darn near, with my mother's side. But my father's side, by the time I was 10 or 12, they were gone. But they lived in a different state too, so I really didn't get to know them like that.
It's such a different kind of, and today our grandparenting is different because we can give our grandchildren more wisdom. The things that with my grandchildren, I can say things to them, and of course, my children always attack my parenting skills. It's like, Mother, I would never do my children. And it's like, you know what? You never called me up and told me you were in jail. You never called me and told me you were pregnant. I didn't hear any of that. So if you want to attack my parenting skills, okay. But from this age to the time you got out at 18, I didn't have to. I wasn't dealing with that kind of
Yes.
thing. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
So,
They find that out when they become parents. How old are your grandchildren?
Josiah is 11, Jair is 10, and Ja is 19.
Whoa.
Yeah, and they always come on the show.
Good.
Thank you. Oh, thank you.
Oh my! We should start saying how old our grandchildren and stuff is, and then we'll get those, like, because I'm telling you, I wake up every single day doing what I love to do. Now that I'm retired, and corporate America almost killed me.
I'm sure.
And then once you retire and do what you love to do, you start living.
I'm sure. So do you
On your
spend a
terms.
lot of time with your grandchildren?
Well, they're in Austin, Texas, and there's 3 of them in Burbank. But when they get mad at you, like you say, they sometimes
Oh.
hold off the grandkids. And I hope by April Fool's Day, when the twins are 2,
Is that
They
not the
quit punishing
craziest
me.
thing?
Well,
But
we
they really
become
don't
the
punish
children.
you.
No,
But they don't really punish you.
yes, they do. We become the children. You know that.
Oh, is
We
that
don't have
what it
any
is?
sense.
Oh, okay. It's
Grandma's
kind of like
hand.
when when you're little, when the kids are little, it's like, my mommy this, my mommy that, my mommy this. Then when they become teenagers, my mama's tripping.
Yeah.
My mama's crazy. And then,
Then
when they
you
become
don't know
adults, you're
nothing.
really crazy.
Then pretty soon they'll go and they have theirs. Oh, I know what you're talking about now. You did have a little bit of sense.
Oh, well, I
How
see
did
that.
you do it? They'll go, yeah, how did you do it, Mom? Oh, you were young, you weren't old.
Oh, well, I see that.
Oh, you'll see that.
Oh, boy,
Trust
I
me.
can't wait to see that.
But they'll be about 25, 30 years old, though.
I can't wait to see that. I cannot. Deborah, I am so looking forward to seeing my grandchildren do the same thing to their mother.
Oh,
I really am. And I know
my
that sounds
3
cruel.
daughters did to me what I did to my mother. I was kind of like a mean kid, kind of.
I was
So
fast.
I got back with the 3 girls and the 1 boy. But the one thing is I was on my own. I never was baby and then wanting to be, like, in other words, I'm not going to say which one because then they'll get me, but they'll say, I'm grown. I can do what I want to do, da-da-da-da-da. But then they say, Mom, we need some toilet paper. I said, I thought you were grown.
Okay.
Buy toilet paper. Buy your food. Don't say you're grown on one hand.
Yeah.
And the next hand, I need some money for toilet paper.
They're adults.
That-
Be adults. That's you know what?
The whole thing, you got to take the whole thing if
No,
you're
it
going to be
doesn't.
grown.
No. They want you to do that. Do you know? I remember when my children were growing up, they never caught the bus. I would take them to school and pick them up from school, and we had a way.
You
You know,
good.
they come home the same day. I mean, the same way that they go to school. And then when they got a certain age and they went to private school, they went to boarding school back east, and so and I made those sacrifices. And do you know that my children had the? I mean, I could not. I mean, you just want to like. You know what I'm saying? Looked at me and said, Mother, if we would have ridden the bus, we would know how to ride the bus. And because you didn't let us ride the bus, we don't know how to.
Oh, guess what? My daughter said,
was
you
like-
should have beat me more.
You should.
Then my kids were latchkey, and I didn't know, that was against the law.
That's not a latchkey. That. You know what?
survival.
Our parents, when they went to work, my oldest daughter told my other. She said, "I raised you." I said, "How? Wait a minute. How do you raise someone when I'm taking care of you? You were watching your sisters because I had to go to work. I had to work." But she says, "I
Exactly.
raised you." I said, No. When you raise someone,
You pay
you
the
are you
bills?
pay.
They don't get that. They don't. They leave out one part of it. But I think, it's just like me. My mother was 20. I can't even fathom it. 29 years old, raising 5 kids by herself
Wow.
in the projects.
And she did it.
In the ghetto.
And
so
she
she had
did
to
it.
be mother and father. And I'm like, wow, 29.
And she put the fear of God in you guys.
All of us under 10, because I was 10 taking care of all my little baby kid brothers and sisters.
Mm-hmm.
There's 1 girl in there and 3 brothers. And it was tough. And I, as a grandmother and a mother, saying, a mother can only go so far. You can teach a boy, you can raise a grown boy, but you can't teach him how to be a man. And I challenge any woman that comes and say, well, I raised my boy, but okay, is he a boy or a man? Did you have uncles, grandfathers,
Right.
pastors? You have to be wise enough as a woman to get that male role model
Yes.
to teach him how to be a man. I'm a woman. I can't teach him how to be a man.
Yeah.
That's just common sense.
Yeah.
He could be a polite boy, a grown boy in a big old body, but to be a man, he needs that other example.
Yeah, because they got to know how to raise a toilet seat
Oh,
up.
my son taught me
Okay.
that at 3. He was
Yeah.
going to visit his dad because I told you his dad left when he was 2. And I went to sit him on. I don't do that, Mama. Daddy said do this. Stood up, showed me how to.
That's what men.
And
That's
guess
what
what?
men
I
teach
knew
them.
that, but I forgot because I had the 3 girls, the boy, and I was just doing him automatically like I
Yeah.
did the girls. And that showed me where he really needed his dad.
Sure.
Because it's those little bitty things like tying a tie. I got him a little clip on. You don't wear a clip on. Here, you do that. And then I was sitting him on the, no. So even if you are a single parent, be wise enough to get positive male role models.
Yeah.
The operative word.
Yeah.
Positive.
Positive. Yeah.
So that's the dig deep
Where do
part.
you find them?
Pray hard.
Yeah. Because I mean,
And
it's a
go
lot
to
of
places.
stuff. Yeah.
I'm not saying all churches, because we heard with some
Yeah,
of
we
the
got
Catholic
stuff,
churches
yeah.
and stuff happen. But if we're watching them and just not leaving them, they're just like schools.
Right.
I believe a private school or a public school is good as the parent involvement.
You definitely have to be involved.
Thank you. Because they abuse them in their private school. You just pay
Sure.
money for them to abuse them.
Exactly. Exactly.
So why not be on them when they're in a public school? You're going to do just the same. Now, I probably would have chosen a private school if I didn't have 4 kids to raise by myself and work
Yeah.
2 jobs. Okay. But I had to weigh that, so the way I had to do it, I had so much seniority I could take off, and I would pop in. I called myself the popcorn visits.
Oh yeah.
They didn't know when I was coming, anything.
Yeah. You have to. You have to do that not just for, because in all honesty, in all fairness, and I'm not saying that all teachers are bad and all, it's like saying
Some
all
of 'em
police,
are,
but
though.
some of them, they're just people. They
Now,
they
some
do
of 'em
drugs.
intentionally.
Yeah, but I'm saying they do drugs. They have relationship issues. They are just people. And what we have to understand is that those people are over our children. And if you don't get to know the person that's spending all that time with your
Exactly.
kid,
Tell it.
anything could happen. And I tell them all the time. You know what? I tell parents. You know what? Interview. You have the right to go
Exactly.
down and say,
Exactly.
okay, who's the 3rd grade teacher? How many 3rd grade teachers
Thank
do you
you.
have? We have
I
3 3rd
agree.
grade teachers. Can I sit down and talk with all 3 of them? Because I need to know what personalities can match with my
Yes.
child.
Yeah, I agree. And you know what? I think grandma's hands need to be more involved. This one class I'm taking, my master's is human development with a specialty in social change. So we had to go to a juvenile hall, and this man has been there 32 years. So we interviewed him and said, what have you found different in the, he said it's changing so hard and they're getting rougher and this and that and the other. He said, what do you think is different now? He said, grandmas. I said, what? He said, grandmas.
The
He said,
absence?
the absence of. He said, the parenting, the loving, and that touch that, that they're kind of being raised by computers and technology and outside now. He said, that's what's missing. He said, that strictness and the manners, they have no respect for elders. A lot of them don't even see the elders. So he said, if we can get that movement back, and let's say the grandmothers can't do anything but pop in under school or be there, walk and give them the lessons.
Yeah, but the flip side to that, and that all of that is good. The problem that I have is that I realize that with my grandchildren, I can tell them something and it's like, okay, and their mother can say something to them 3 or 4 times. I'm just not the person to do that. And what I see is that, and I don't know is it a jealousy or, I mean, it's almost like you have more control over my child than I do kind of thing.
Because you
And
set
so-
the boundaries.
Exactly. My grandkids come and visit me all the time. In fact, my neighbor thought they lived with me because they come all the time, and I enjoy them. But I can remember I went to visit my daughter, and she wasn't there, and my grandchildren were there, and they opened the door and they let me in. And I mean, when she got on the phone, she let them have it. It's like, you don't open the door for anybody, and I told you, and when I catch you, blah 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 blah. And so they were scared, and so I said to them, I said, listen, I'm gonna leave because I don't want you to get in trouble. And so she calls me up and she tells me later, Mother, I want them to have the fear of God and with me like we had with you. I said, the difference is that you weren't at someone's house all the time, all the time. I'm their grandmother. You know, and so I don't want them
They
to be
have to know.
confused. And she says, well, with us, when we were coming up, we couldn't open the door for anyone. Well, I was a product of child
Yeah, me
molestation.
too.
And so because of that, I just went straight across the board with it. It's like, you don't let my brother in, you don't let my dad in, you don't let any man in this door. I meant that. I meant it. And so, and when we were coming up, we had these play uncles and, you know, all this kind of foolishness and stuff. And so
Everybody was an uncle.
Okay.
Dang, how many uncles do I have?
Okay. And so because of that, I was really, really, really serious. I mean, it was like, do not open the door for anyone. But and even when my brothers came, you know, it's like, I don't care who it is, don't open the door. So, but when I went over there, I mean, they know me. I mean, they're at my house all the time, and and the school is right down the street from where I live, so they can even spend the night at my house during the weekday, and I can take them to school. So when she said that to them, and I thought about it, and I said, you know what? Let me just step back and let her do her parenting the way she wants to do it. And with that, you know what I'm saying? You know, all these other things come with it, because with that comes, I don't have a problem coming and picking them up from school, but you know what? I don't think I'm going to do that anymore, because that's the way you're raising your children, and you need
Exactly.
to, you need to.
Exactly.
And so I have just kind of
Exactly.
backed all the way off. I mean,
So they need you, and they'll ask you, and then you'll decide, well, either I have time or I don't have time.
Exactly.
Like they do. Look at the text, okay, I want to answer it, or I don't want to answer it.
Yeah.
You know, because, I mean, with this new time, just like, I don't even know half the time what they're mad at me for sometimes.
I never
Why?
figured it out.
And then, like,
but mine band together.
Wait a minute.
Do your
Oh,
girls band
oh,
together?
Lordy.
Oh, listen. If I'm angry
Oh,
with
my
one,
gosh.
if I'm angry with one of them, they band together.
together and
and
boo,
they
boo, boo.
all stop talking
but
to
when
you.
you catch up, it's like, this last time it was so deep, the one got caught.
I'm so glad to know that I'm not
They
the
got
only one
caught.
out there.
The one got caught. She got so ticked. She said, "Oh Lord, she done found me out." So now, but the only thing I don't like is using the grandchildren as a pawn
Yeah.
and talking about the grandmother or whatever in front of them.
Yes.
Just like I'm reading by Gail Evans, I think. She wins. When she wins, you win. Women banding together, not pulling them down when they get successful, but lifting them up. Because
Yes.
if one woman wins, we win. If one woman loses, we lose.
That's right.
So we all look together. Why are we backbiting and talking about each other? That's the way the mothers are going to do. What if something happened to her? Now the kids have to come stay with me. She done talked about me so bad or kept them away.
Sure.
They're going to be traumatized.
Exactly. And now
Because
it's
they're
like,
only, little.
yeah.
They're little.
And then now they're trying to figure it out. It's like, well, how do I act? And I can always tell when they talk about me, because
Oh, yes. Oh, I can
you
tell,
can
too.
tell, because the children are they're very reserved. It's
They'll
like,
look like,
and you can ask them a
Should
question.
we tell them what the bad things you said about grandma?
But if you ask them a question, I asked my grandchildren the other day. I said, how's your mom's car running?
Because they said, don't tell her nothing.
Look, you don't tell them anything
Yeah.
going on in this house. You don't tell them anything, and you can tell when
They
you ask
think
them the
you're a
questions.
fool.
Listen, I
Wait a
don't
minute, when they
really
would get high, guess what
care.
happened? They would go by me. You could smell it just a mile away, but they run past you, go in your bathroom, use your cologne,
Oh.
spray, then come out and go hug you. Hi, Mom. What
It's
they
like,
think we got?
So silly.
What they think we crazy?
We're so crazy.
I guess because
We're
we
so
we
crazy.
crazy.
I don't. But you know what though?
And I go,
Yeah, that's
so
all you can do.
sometimes, since they think I am, I play it.
Yeah.
Crazy. They ask me for money, I'm crazy.
Listen, when I was coming up, do you know my mother had no problem telling me she didn't have it? I could say, Mom, I need something. I don't have it.
I don't have crazy.
It was like,
So
but,
play crazy.
But with us, it's like we really try. I mean, if they need something, we really want to help them. We don't want to support.
I'm
we want to
spending
assist.
my inheritance on me.
Assist.
I'm giving whatever they want while I'm living, so you won't kill each other
You know,
when you die.
no, that's still gonna
When you
happen.
organize- Oh no, because they ain't gonna have nothing to fight over. They're gonna be beating me in the ground saying, "You didn't leave us nothing. You spent it. Why'd you go to Africa? Why'd you buy them clothes?
Oh yeah.
Oh,
No,
you know.
she didn't.
Oh.
Is that our
They're gonna
inheritance
be up
she's
there.
spending?
They're gonna be up there just. Well, see, I ain't even gonna give them the benefit of that. I'm gonna be cremated, so they'll put me over some sunflowers.
I tell my children, I said, no funeral for me. On the back of my license is donate all my parts
it.
to medical science, and whatever they need, whatever will save another person's life, they can
That's it.
have it.
That's it.
You know, and that's good for
Burn
me. I
up,
just,
too.
gosh.
Then after that, burn me.
I
But
don't
is
know.
that grandma's hands? But you know, on the serious side, I think we have become afraid of our children and society and telling them and putting them in places because the law is just telling them, oh, you can sue this and they can't do this and can't do this. But then when they get them in the system,
Oh
boom.
gosh,
But
listen.
I think we need to band together in a respectful way, not the way they did Willie Lynch, 1712, but in a respectful, loving way. We need to take our kids back and teach them. They're socially challenged now. That should be a new disease or whatever.
Sure.
Socially challenged because a lot of them are in the system and haven't had that upbringing.
Do you think it's young mothers or?
It's our generation's kids that we spoiled too much, and they have this sense of entitlement and not working
That's
for
exactly what
the
it
sense
is.
that the world owes me, and we got to teach them. We work for it, you work for it, and have that balance.
But I think we did it.
We did it.
I think we messed them up when
We
we
messed
gave
them
them
up.
too much.
We gave them too much. Cornucopia kids, where you give them everything without them earning it.
Wow. So we're down to like 2 minutes. But please, will you come back? Can we do a part two of this?
Three,
Because
four?
this is so. I mean, really.
We're
I'm
talking
sure
about bad
that-
service. We're talking about bad services in restaurants.
We're
and
gonna talk about
different-
that again. You gonna
we
come
gotta
back?
go- Oh yes, I'll come back.
Good. Oh, because we definitely got to talk about
Yes,
that.
yes.
I'm telling you, I know that there's so many grandparents out there that.
How do they reach you?
know,
How do they call
and
you to be on your
you
show?
You can call the station. Someone will let me
626,
know.
this one here?
795-5556.
There you go. And what's your
it's-
email?
It's Juanetta Benton at Yahoo.
That's what I'm
And
saying.
if you look at the credits towards the end, you'll see all the contact information. Call us. Let us know.
She's
I
so
mean,
much fun. You need to come down and sit in her
We
chair.
have a good time.
Who
you
did
know
your
what?
music?
My daughter did. My
Which one
daughter
is
did.
your which star?
That's the baby girl.
That's the baby girl.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah.
Give them props. What's her name? This is Grandma.
Jessica James. She
Jessica.
just-
You have
she's
talented
awesome.
grandkids?
Oh, they do Jay's View. Those are my grandkids that do Jay's View.
No.
Yes, they are. Those are my
The little
grandkids.
girl?
Yes.
And the two?
That-
No.
that's those are
Oh my
those are
goodness.
Those
Guess
are my
what?
grandkids.
I called up and I said, wait a minute, somebody up in my slot at 8 o'clock. I said, I thought I was supposed to be. I said, they're the cutest things, don't get me wrong. At the
Those
end
are
of
my
slot.
grandkids.
And I said, are you kidding me? I said, they are so cute. So they put my slot back. But
Okay.
they took my slot.
Listen, we gotta go.
Oh my God.
we gotta
Those
go.
are
We
not
gotta go.
your kids.
Those are them. Those
One
are
with
them.
the little robot and
Those are them.
No.
Those
Were
are my
you here
grandma.
tonight?
Yes.
Oh
we
my
gotta
God.
go though.
I am
We
so
gotta go.
impressed.
We're
I'm
gonna come
impressed.
back. We're gonna
I'm
come back.
impressed.
We're gonna talk about some
Oh
eating
my
places and all that.
God.
Yeah. Thank you for joining in. Tell them goodbye, Deborah.
Rick, the critic, when she come into your place, so you best not forget it. She gon' tell you how it is, cause she's Rick, the critic, when she all up in your city, oh, you best not forget it. Let you know if she like it, and if she get with it, let the whole world know and be the first to admit it. Let you know if it's good and if she dig it, cause she's Rick, the critic, Rick, the critic, Rick, the critic, Rick, the critic. She the first to admit it if she can't dig it, cause she's Rick, the critic, 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 Rick,